But before we dive into this incredible encounter, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because we've got so much more wrestling content coming your way. And if you enjoy today's breakdown, drop a like to let us know. Now, let's set the stage. The 22nd of January 2021. SmackDown is in the thick of building toward the Royal Rumble, and tensions are running higher than a top rope superplex. Adam Pearce, WWE's official at the time, found himself in an impossible position. On one side, you had Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, asserting his dominance with Paul Heyman as his special counsel. On the other, mounting pressure from WWE management and a roster full of superstars demanding opportunities. But here's where it gets interesting, Wrestling Zone family. This wasn't just any ordinary authority figure showdown. This was a collision between two completely different philosophies of power in professional wrestling. Adam Pearce represented the old-school, no-nonsense approach. A former wrestler himself, Pearce understood what it meant to earn your stripes in the ring. His background as an NWA World Heavyweight Champion gave him credibility that most authority figures simply don't possess. When Pearce spoke, wrestlers listened not because they had to, but because they respected the fact that he'd been where they were. Paul Heyman, on the other hand, was the master manipulator, the advocate, the dangerous man behind the microphone who could convince you that black was white and up was down. Heyman's power came from his silver tongue and his ability to position himself next to the most dominant forces in WWE. First with Brock Lesnar, then with Roman Reigns, Heyman didn't need to throw punches to be dangerous. So when these two worlds collided on that January night, it wasn't just about settling a dispute, it was about proving which type of authority truly ruled WWE. The match itself was a masterclass in storytelling without relying on high-flying moves or devastating finishes. From the opening bell, you could see the contrast in styles. Pearce, despite being in his late 40s, moved with the confidence of someone who belonged in that ring. His strikes were crisp, his positioning was perfect, and most importantly, he treated this like a real competition. Heyman, bless his heart, looked exactly like what he was, a manager who found himself way out of his comfort zone. But here's what made this match so compelling, Heyman's desperation felt genuine. Every awkward grapple, every failed attempt at offense, every moment where he realized he was in over his head, it all contributed to a narrative that had the WWE Universe completely invested. The genius of this match wasn't in its technical excellence, though Pearce certainly held up his end. It was in how it used the personalities and real-life roles of these two men to create something genuinely entertaining. When Heyman tried to use his cunning to gain an advantage, only to be outmaneuvered by Pearce's ring awareness, it perfectly encapsulated their professional relationship dynamic. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the tribal chief in the building. Roman Reigns' presence loomed large over this entire encounter. The match existed because of the power struggle between Pearce's official authority and Reigns' self-proclaimed tribal authority. Heyman wasn't just fighting for himself, he was fighting to maintain his position in Reigns' inner circle. This added layer of pressure created some of the match's most compelling moments. You could see it in Heyman's eyes, the fear that failure here wouldn't just mean losing a match, but potentially losing his spot as Roman's special counsel. It gave every near fall, every reversal, genuine stakes that went beyond just winning or losing. The crowd reaction throughout this match was absolutely electric. The WWE Universe clearly appreciated seeing two authority figures actually settle their differences in the ring rather than through endless talking segments. There's something inherently satisfying about watching corporate disputes resolved through good old-fashioned wrestling, and both men delivered on that promise. Pearce's victory, when it came, felt earned rather than predetermined. He didn't just beat Heyman, he outclassed him in every aspect of in-ring competition. The way Pearce controlled the pace, countered Heyman's limited offense, and ultimately secured the win showcased exactly why he commanded respect as both an official and a former competitor. But perhaps the most important aspect of this match was what it represented for WWE's storytelling approach. In an era where authority figures often feel disconnected from the in-ring product, seeing Adam Pearce actually compete reminded everyone that the best wrestling stories happen when all the pieces fit together organically. The aftermath of this match continued to reverberate through SmackDown for weeks. Heyman's loss didn't just affect him personally, it shifted the power dynamics around Roman Reigns and changed how other superstars viewed Pearce's authority. When an official proves they can back up their decisions with actual ring work, it adds a whole new dimension to their character. Looking back now, this match stands as a perfect example of how WWE can create compelling television without relying solely on their biggest stars. Sometimes the most entertaining stories come from unexpected places, and Adam Pearce vs. Paul Heyman was definitely unexpected. So Wrestling Zone family, what did you think of this clash of authority? Was this the kind of match you'd like to see more of, or do you prefer when authority figures stay out of the ring? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our other breakdowns of classic SmackDown moments. Until next time, keep watching, keep wrestling, and remember, in Wrestling Zone 1, every match tells a story worth hearing.